Welcome to the Pearson Eco-Business Zone Policy Toolkit training video series. This policy training video will provide an overview of the Using Development Permits to Promote Eco-Business Zone Activity primer. Additional training videos are available on the following tools: links between Ontario Planning Policy and Partners in Project Green, and Fast-Tracking Eco-Business Zone Applications, How to Get Started. These training videos, as well as the full policy toolkit, can be accessed at www.partnersinprojectgreen.com/policy-toolkit. To begin, I would like to provide a little background on the policy toolkit. The policy toolkit is a collection of independent tools whose purpose is to provide guidance to municipalities in their development of a harmonized planning environment that will help facilitate and coordinate eco-business activities. The policy toolkit specifically assists municipal partners in developing and coordinating policies, regulations, and standards that will support green businesses. The policy toolkit's resources provide policy direction, answers to frequently asked questions, training materials, eco-business best practices, tips on leveraging legislation and regulations, steps for implementing green business initiatives, and several other resources. The policy toolkit is broken up into three main categories based on their intended purpose. The first category is communications tools. For example, the overview of Partners in Project Green for municipal staff helps municipal staff become familiar with and communicate about Partners in Project Green. The next category is primers, which are brief overviews of key information that will help staff from different municipal departments develop a high-level understanding of the policy, regulatory, and incentive framework that can shape eco-business zone activities. This policy training video will focus on one of the policy toolkit primers, using development permits to promote eco-business zone activity. Other primers that are available include links between Ontario Planning Policy and Partners in Project Green, Eco-Business Zone Municipal Incentives, and Fast-Tracking Eco-Business Zone Applications, How to Get Started. The third category is policy templates, which provide specific examples of best practices, current policy wording, advice, and other practical guidance for creating eco-business zone policy, regulations, and incentives. Available policy templates include Glossary of Eco-Business and Sustainability Terms, Eco-Business Zone Policy Statement, Potential Municipal Eco-Business Zone Official Plan Policies, Considerations of Eco-Business Zone Development Standards, Eco-Business Subdivision Planning and Servicing Requirement, and Eco-Business Development Screening Tool. These tools are available for viewing and download at www.partnersinprojectgreen.com/policy-toolkit. This policy training video will focus on the policy toolkit primer, using development permits to promote eco-business zone activity. This primer describes how the new development permit system powers under the Planning Act might be adapted to support eco-business zone activity and Partners in Project Green goals. Although a development permit system is a significant and complex planning tool to develop, it can offer a number of potential advantages over existing development review procedures, including streamlining the development process and reducing approval timelines, offering a flexible approach to permitted and discretionary uses, allowing approval criteria and conditions that support greater environmental protection if environmental protection is a stated goal of the official plan, community involvement, and guidance regarding good design and compatible development. In the primer, you will find a description of the development permit system and how it can be used to promote sustainability in eco-business zones. So what is a development permit system? Municipalities were granted authority to create development permit systems in 2007 through the Development Permits Regulation under the Planning Act. The regulation is part of the government's commitment to make Ontario's land use planning system more effective. The development permit system is a land use planning tool which combines zoning, site plan, and minor variance processes into one application and approval process. The development permit system helps to promote development, facilitate community building, brownfield redevelopment, green space preservation, and environmental protection. It also provides the benefits of streamlining, flexibility, and the convenience of a one-stop source for planning approvals. With regard to eco-business activity, the development permit system gives municipalities the ability to apply conditions, request studies, request monitoring, and can choose to apply these tools to sustainability requirements. For instance, municipalities could explore the potential for establishing conditions asking businesses for ongoing reporting of annual resource flows such as energy, water consumption, and solid and liquid waste generated. This data could then be used to develop a database to support future eco-business activities. Municipalities can establish conditions that must be met prior to or at the time of the development permit application. Some conditions may even be addressed after the development permit has been issued, for example, long-term monitoring. Overall, the development permit system gives municipalities another tool to apply conditions or request additional information and technical studies to ensure all the necessary information is available to make quick and thoughtful decisions. There are several other ways a development permit system can be used to promote eco-business zone activity. This can typically be achieved through considerations for site development, exterior building design, and streetscape improvements. Like a zoning bylaw, a development permit bylaw must identify and define a list of permitted uses. However, the permit system offers flexibility in the development approvals process and allows the municipality to identify discretionary uses that may be permitted if specified criteria are met. This is important for areas such as environmentally sensitive or contaminated areas where appropriate development in the past has been prohibited or hindered. Municipalities can develop criteria which are attached to discretionary uses and may include actions to protect water quality through the requirement for vegetative buffers, for example, or technical studies to determine whether a proposed use is appropriate and under what conditions. Municipalities may also establish sustainability conditions for approval on standard permitted uses. For example, a proposed condition may be that development must use existing infrastructure as a means of reducing overall impacts from this business activity on the surrounding area. This may include byproduct synergies where a new company utilizes another company's waste stream, transforming waste into a new product or service. The development permit system also allows municipalities to authorize flexible development standards. A development permit bylaw may establish a specified range of variation from standards for the benefit of eco-business zone activities and can be permitted without a bylaw amendment. This, for example, may allow buildings to exceed height and density of development otherwise permitted by zoning bylaws in exchange for community benefits. As shown previously, the development permit system can support environmental protection through its effect on site development, exterior building design, and streetscape improvements as a result of conditions of approval and discretionary uses designation. When a broad range of environmental and/or sustainability-related conditions of approval are imposed for development and discretionary uses, this allows municipalities to better protect the environment and help meet sustainability's goals and vision. For example, land use planning priorities the development permit system can help achieve include energy conservation and green infrastructure, such as green roofs, efficient use of land through compact form, redevelopment, and intensification, brownfields redevelopment, streetscape amenities such as benches, trees, and public art, and transit and pedestrian-oriented development. In addition, the definition of development in the development permit system is broader and includes site alteration and the removal of vegetation. Therefore, this further enables municipalities to better protect water resources and the environment, for example, through the issue of development conditions related to vegetation removal. A development permit system also allows the public to have a say in the vision of their community. The public's role is focused at the front end of the process when the policies are being established, and once the system is implemented, any changes to the requirements for development require community input and participation and are subject to appeals to the Ontario Municipal Board. For instance, any changes to the development permit system official plan policies and development permit bylaw require community input and participation. Municipalities must hold a mandatory public open house which allows the public an opportunity to review and ask questions about the information and material. A public meeting is also required to give the public an opportunity to make their views known before Council makes a decision. If there are any concerns that cannot be resolved, any interested party can appeal the matter to the Ontario Municipal Board. The structure of this system promotes strategic, long-term planning and provides certainty, transparency, and accountability for the community and other parties in the land use planning system. A development permit system's conditions of approval can also be used to help municipalities maintain their community design goals. In a development permit system, municipalities can utilize the enabling provisions in the Planning Act that allow them to consider the exterior design details of buildings which influence a building's character, scale, appearance, and environmental quality. This can improve a building's relationship with other buildings and landscapes on and surrounding a development site, and its interface with public spaces, such as parks, walkways, plazas, and streets. This ability strengthens a municipality's capacity to maintain and enhance the look and feel of main streets, town centers, neighborhoods, and heritage areas. Although in a moment a high-level outline of the process required to create a development permit system will be provided, it should be noted that a development permit system is a significant and complex planning tool to develop, and the process might vary from municipality to municipality. An official plan amendment is also needed beforehand to allow the municipality to pass a development permit bylaw. The requirements of the official plan policy can be found in Section 3 of Ontario Regulation 608/06. The steps to create a development permit system are as follows: a review of existing policies to determine aspects that should be reflected in the development permit system, the coordination and participation in consultations that provide a preliminary wish list for the development permit system requirements, drafting text for a development permit system bylaw, develop and deliver required bylaw adoption consultations, as well as a broad stakeholder workshop targeting eco-business zone stakeholders to obtain feedback and guidance on the draft, then finalize the development permit system bylaw text, prepare a guide to the development permit system bylaw, and deliver a launch workshop to explain the requirements and opportunities presented by the development permit system. If needed, partners in Project Green teams may be available for consultation or full involvement to help create a municipal development permit system. Contact information will be made available at the end of the training video. We are now going to review a case study of a municipality in Alberta that revised their development permit application process for the Teganova Eco-Industrial Park. The case study can be found at www.partnersinprojectgreen.com/policy-toolkit. The Teganova Eco-Industrial Park is an industrial development in Fort McMurray that plans to use green infrastructure and innovative sustainable design approaches for its industrial development. The park is taking leadership in sustainable industrial development with the goal of minimizing environmental impacts, enhancing quality of life, addressing a shortage of industrial land in the area, and supporting the needs of the local economy. Teganova has also been recognized internationally as a leading-edge development in terms of sustainability, although much of the property is still under construction. To make the transition from conventional to green industrial development, the municipal regulatory frameworks needed to be aligned to collectively support Teganova's eco-industrial development. The municipality amended not only their development permit process, but also a land use bylaw, the municipal development plan, and their area structure plan. The amendments also included design guidelines. Next, we will take a look at the municipality's development permit application process and some of the requirements for potential industrial tenants in the Tega Nova Eco-Industrial Park. The local municipality created a streamlined development permit application process for the park. The revised permit application process takes advantage of the development permit system powers under the Planning Act, which enables municipalities to require developers to address issues of sustainability and provide additional information. The municipality has assigned dedicated staff to process permit applications to further expedite the permit application process. The Tega Nova permit process requires several key pieces of information from applicants before issuing a development permit. For example, applicants must provide written statements from accredited architects and engineers regarding how they addressed land use efficiency, alternative transportation, water and wastewater reuse, and waste reduction, among other criteria. Land sales also require a competitive process in which interested businesses compete based in part on the strength of their green performance. The municipality has also adopted land use bylaw amendments that contain requirements that help achieve potential sustainability goals required through the development permit application process. Specifically, the new land use bylaw amendments require businesses in Tega Nova to make buildings that will be at least 25% more efficient than the Model National Energy Code, provide information about their inputs and outputs to support future potential byproduct synergies, provide preferential parking for carpooling or hybrid cars, reduce the environmental impacts during construction, and consider strategies to reduce resource use, waste generation, and increase land use efficiency. Additional design guidelines have also been developed to guide and facilitate the development of higher performance green buildings and operations. The guidelines contain some mandatory guidelines, and developers must also meet 22 guidelines of their choosing from a list of 43 optional guidelines. The Wood Buffalo Housing and Development Corporation, the not-for-profit development corporation who is developing the 131-acre Tega Nova Eco-Industrial Park, has also agreed to work with all new businesses towards sustainability initiatives such as byproduct synergies and green energy procurement. Next, we will take a look at the Sustainable Devons project, where a former Air Force base named Fort Devens, located in the state of Massachusetts, was scheduled for redevelopment. The Devens area has mixed-use development that includes industrial and office parks, residential nodes, and some adaptive reuse projects and protected areas. The Sustainable Devons project offers an expedited development permitting process that supports innovation in site design and imposes a range of sustainability conditions on the issuance of a development permit. The Devons redevelopment project also resulted in the development of local bylaws and a reuse plan. The reuse plan for the site was created by the Massachusetts Government Land Bank and the joint boards of selectmen in the towns of Shirley, Ayer, Harvard, and Lancaster. The reuse plan calls for sustainability in the redevelopment of Devons, with an emphasis on protecting existing ecological features, such as protecting the local aquifer, site remediation, and implementing sustainable agriculture. The plan articulates several sustainability-related goals, such as having 33% of the site remain in permanent protection from development. The plan also identifies a strong interest in promoting industrial ecology as one of the driving themes for business activity in Devons. For example, businesses may build physical connections between buildings to facilitate collaboration and efficiencies, so long as vehicle and pedestrian access is not impacted. In the development permit application, developers in the Devons area must demonstrate how their proposed project will meet the goals of the reuse plan. As mentioned, the reuse plan has a strong interest in promoting industrial ecology as one of the driving themes for business activity in the park. Specifically, development permit applications must demonstrate how the project meets the following goals of the reuse plan, including: development must add to the diversity of uses. There must be discussion of how the project meets the general intent of sustainability. The project must illustrate material contributions to sustainable economic activity, and the project must offer a range and diversity of skilled employment. The permit application may also require additional studies or information to address specific environmental aspects of the development proposal. As the last two examples and the primer illustrate, a development permit system can provide an alternative approval system that streamlines the development permit application process and helps to promote community development with environmental protections in accordance with eco-business zone activities. The development permit system incorporates many unique features which distinguish it from other planning tools and provides several approaches that allow municipalities to promote and facilitate the development of an eco-business zone. These features include faster review timelines and one approval and application. A development permit system combines zoning, site plan, and minor variance processes into one application and approval procedure, meant to cut down on paperwork and time. Review timelines for the consideration of applications for development permits are 45 days, as compared to 120 days for a decision on an application to amend a zoning bylaw or 30 days for a site plan approval. Flexibility. A development permit bylaw offers a flexible approval system which can incorporate flexibility in both municipal development standards and permitted uses, which can be used to facilitate eco-features into infrastructure and landscape designs. Conditions of approval. Municipalities have the ability to impose a range of sustainability-related conditions on the issuance of a development permit, provided that these conditions meet prescribed criteria. Criteria may include those related to exterior design of buildings, streetscape improvements, vegetation removal and site alteration, and ongoing monitoring requirements to ensure public health and safety and protection of the natural environment, and so on. Consistency. The development permit system is a streamlined, integrated, and flexible approvals framework that provides certainty and clarity for landowners and the community by identifying the requirements for development up front through the municipality's official plan policies and development permit bylaw. Permitted and discretionary uses. Development permit bylaws can identify discretionary uses subject to meeting specified criteria, providing a greater range of options in dealing with environmentally sensitive hazardous areas. Community design. Municipalities can ensure buildings are compatible with eco-business zone features through conditions related to exterior designs and secure streetscape improvements, such as landscaping, street furniture, and bicycle parking facilities. Thank you for joining us for this installment of the Policy Toolkit training video series. For more information on Partners in Project Green, please visit www.partnersinprojectgreen.com. Once again, the link to access all of the policy tools and training videos is www.partnersinprojectgreen.com/policytoolkit.